All right. And the last thing I want to touch on in this episode here is here in New York, New Jersey, with the Jets and Zach Wilson, because it was loud this past weekend with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson hate, to be honest. And look, I mean, I feel like I personally just feel bad for Zach. Like, this is one of those situations where everyone wants him out. Even Joe Namath, even him, he's just like, get him out. He's like, I've seen enough. Get him the fuck out. Like, I don't want him. Fireman Ed is like, quitting on the team or something. I don't know. But he's just, Zach Wilson is in a tough spot, I think, because in my opinion, the reason why he's in a tough spot is because, look, no one could have seen the Aaron Rodgers injury coming. The team wasn't built to be a team that if Aaron Rodgers went down, like, they just weren't built to deal with an Aaron Rodgers injury, I think, right? They didn't do anything with the quarterback position. They didn't do anything with the backup quarterback position, actually, or the backup to the backup, right? It's a difficult situation. I think it's hard because, we're seeing a Zach Wilson that was not meant to be seen at this point in time, in my opinion. I don't think, like the plan was always he's going to sit behind Rodgers, he's going to see how he is, and like seeing him 3 weeks or whatever, or a couple weeks after Aaron Rodgers goes down, like, that's so early in his development process, and we expected to see a Zach Wilson that was going to go through an entire season sitting behind Aaron Rodgers and a full 18 weeks of just observing, going through practice, not being able to not having to face the pressure, right? Like, you can even see it in Hard Knocks. He goes like, oh, I just want to, it's fun to just be able to enjoy the game again, right? Just to enjoy being out there. And he got to enjoy the game because the pressure wasn't on him. He didn't have the New York media. He didn't have the NFL world. He didn't have, Jets own, like, the legends of the Jets, like Joe Namath, all of them. He didn't get all the New York talk shows, radio shows, and all that stuff. They're shitting on him now. And he didn't expect to go through a phase, at least for this season, where he would have to go through that. He could just enjoy the game, and he enjoy practice, enjoy those moments, and learn from Aaron. So, like, a lot of that timetable has been pushed up so far ahead that, like, it completely changes the dynamic of what he's in for, and the kind of season that he was expected to have is now different. And I think recently the Jets signed Trevor Siemian, and I don't think that that's in any way a replacement. I think it's more of a tandem. I think that maybe it's also to take the heat off of Zach, if you think about it too, because it's not like Simeon's exactly who knows, he could come in and kind of steal the show a little bit, which could be good for him and good to take the pressure off Zach. But I think bringing Trevor Siemian in is also a way to take the heat off of Zach. I think you got to be able to take some of the pressure off him. He's a young dude. He's a young kid. And, honestly, I don't follow the Jets religiously. So I can't really say how much potential there is for Zach, but it's we've seen a lot of them. And I will agree with with the people who kind of hate on him. I'll agree though that it's not like a Bryce Young, CJ Stroud situation where it's the first year he's in this, and he's like, all right, well, you got to give him a year, 2 more years or a couple more years. Just like we've seen a lot of Zach Wilson. I mean, that's the point I think with Joe Namath. I agree. It's like we've seen a lot of him, the tape is out there on him. And, it hasn't been that great. Now, I will say, this season, you look at Nathaniel Hackett, he came on because of Aaron. And I think personally, I think a lot of Hackett's success because of Aaron, because of Aaron Rodgers is there. It's I don't know, you look at what Hackett did last year in the Broncos with Russell Wilson, and then you look at what he's done this year with Zach coming in, and you just can't help but think maybe Aaron is the reason why he has a lot of success. And it's not necessarily that he's just a bad coach or anything like that. It's just more of maybe just the chemistry between Hackett and Rodgers is so good that's what makes Hackett propel. It's that's what makes him thrive. It's what Aaron brings to the table makes him better. I mean, Aaron will make any OC better, but just in terms of being able to develop players may not be Hackett's strongest suit. So So we'll see what happens with both Trevor Siemian and Zach Wilson, because I think of it this way too. If you look at like what Justin Fields is going through in Chicago, like he is not playing well, right? Fields is not playing well. Zach Wilson's not playing well. But I think the difference though is if you look at the weapons Zach Wilson has, he has significantly more weapons than Fields does, right? I don't think Fields is and that's a different story for a different video, but I don't think Fields is in a position for him to succeed. And also he has not done himself any favors by just the way that he's kind of played sometimes. But I also think with Zach Wilson, like, what makes it easier for the media to pile on to Zach, and also again, he has not played well either. Like, I'm not saying he has played well by any means, but like what makes it easier for the media to pile on to Zach is like you got a lot of the weapons you need offensively and defense. The Jets defense has been incredible, right? They've been incredible, and you have a lot of the weapons you need in terms of, you know, on the offensive side. And the fact that like they are losing the way that they have been losing. And this Patriots game, they had like, it's almost like in that final drive, they still had a chance to win the game towards the end there. When you thought all hope was lost, they still had a chance and they couldn't come up with anything. On that drive, it was nothing. And, you know, again, the QB being the QB, you're going to shoulder a lot of the blame, and that's the reality of it. But I just think that that's what also makes it really loud is like, it's not like you have scrubs on the offense, you know? You have guys that if you put Aaron in there, they probably win that game handedly, you know? You even put like a Kirk Cousins in there, they win that game. So it's interesting to see what they'll do. I just think also like, the future of the Jets, at least for the next 2 years, is with Aaron Rodgers, right? Or next year, and I forgot, he signed a 2-year or 3-year contract or something like that. But like the future of the Jets is, for now, at least with the near future, is that they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers to come back. So like, if you give the reins over to a veteran QB, as a lot of people are clamming for, oh, they want the bring back Flacco, or let's get Kirk Cousins, or like, hey, we should have signed Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan, like whatever, right? If you do that, like, what is the what's the dynamic then between like when Aaron Rodgers comes back and the other guy, like, what's the expectation now? You know what I mean? Like, are Jets fans wanting to think like, hey, if we just get another veteran QB, we'll still have a chance to make it deep in the playoffs as if we had Aaron Rodgers? Because I don't think that that's the case. Like, I don't think there's any current QB right now. There aren't a lot of even like QBs in terms of like on teams too, not just free agents, but like there's no free agent QB or any QB that is available, put it that way, that can take the Jets deep into the playoffs and would garner the same expectation that you would if Aaron Rodgers were healthy. So like, I don't know, like, would you want to give up so much to just make it to the playoffs, but then at the same time risk, you know, having your key guys for next year or whatever? I don't know. It's an interesting situation they're put in. It's a tough situation they're put in. I definitely feel for Zach. I think it's like, you know, you don't want to have to shoulder all that hate and all that bullshit that kind of comes your way. You just want to focus on the game and focus on getting better. But it is getting loud, and in this business and the NFL, it is about like wins. You know, it doesn't matter how you get it. It just matters that you win. So yeah, I mean, hopefully they can turn around. Honestly, like just for the mental health of this guy, Zach Wilson. Like, man, you know, he is getting it from every which way, and all the hate and all that stuff. And so at least, you know, at least he has a nice like line of communication to Aaron, so maybe he can get some help and advice on just how to turn things around a little bit. But yeah, I think it just, and I think the rest of the team has to step up too, right? Like, and more, maybe more so than it normally would, and more so than maybe is expected. But like, hey, like that's your QB, right? Unfortunately, Aaron's out and it's hurt. That's the reality. But whether it's Trevor Siemian or Zach Wilson, those are your guys right now on QB. Make a big play for them. You know, I think that's one thing that I forgot which wide receiver said this, but like one of the things that helps a rookie QB or a struggling QB is if one of their wide receivers just makes a really good catch, because then it shows your QB, okay, like you don't have to be perfect on every single throw. You know, they'll be there. They're your support. They'll get you. Just get them the ball. Get it in your catch radius, right? So yeah, I mean it's tough situation for Jets fans, and tough situation for Zach Wilson, rest of the team, Robert Saleh, but we'll see how they do. Can't say I'm confident, but I hope that they can turn things around. But yeah, we'll see how that goes there for them.